So this question comes from the review, and it's question 2J. And I really like this question because it deals with fractions, both division and adding and multiplication. So we've got a lot going on in this question, plus we have no brackets. So in terms of our order of operations, we will be starting with, you can start with your division first, such as here, or you can go ahead with your multiplication, okay? However, we will not be doing the addition until last, as well as the subtraction here. Now, for me, I always work, when there's no brackets, I always work left to right. But the beauty with math is that you should be able to do it a couple of ways and still get the right answer. So the first thing I'm going to do when I work left to right is I have a few whole numbers here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create my whole numbers of 2 and also my mixed fraction. I'm going to turn them back into their improper form before I do anything. So I have 4/5 divided by 2 over 1. And I have a negative. 5 multiplied by 1 is 5, plus 3 gives us 8, and that denominator will still be 5. Multiplied by 5/6 divided by 4/3, plus 8 multiplied by 1 gives us 8, plus 3 gives us 11, with that denominator staying the same, divided by 9 multiplied by 1 is 9, plus 2 is 11 over 9. Okay, so now I'm going to work left to right, and the first thing I'm going to tackle is this division. So remember, in fractions we actually don't divide fractions. We're going to take that second fraction and we're going to flip it, and now we actually have a multiplication. So I'm just going to write the rest of the question out, trying to make sure I keep my notation accurate. Okay, so 4 multiplied by 1 will give us 4, 5 multiplied by 2 gives us 10, and now I'm going to do the multiplication of negative 8/5 multiplied by 5/6. So negative 8 multiplied by 5 will give us a negative 40. And 5 multiplied by 6 gives us a 30, and we still have that division going on as well. Okay, so now I have 4/10 subtracting 40/30, but I still have division going on. So I still need to get that division happening before I even worry about subtracting that 4/10. So that 4/10 is still going to kick around for a little bit. And now in terms of our multiplication, I'm going to flip this fraction here because it's actually, we have a division here. So again, we have negative 40 over 30, but this time, because I'm going to multiply by the second fraction, we flip that second fraction. And we have 4/10 subtract 40 over 30th multiplied by 3/4 plus 11/8 divided by 11/9. So I've run out of room, so I'm going to move to a new slide, and I'm just going to rearrange that slide, I'm going to re-put the question there. Okay, so we're left, we had that 4/10 subtract 40/30 multiplied by that 3/4 plus 11/8 divided by 11/9. Okay, so now I'm going to focus on getting this multiplication out of the way. So that 4/10 is still there. Negative 40 multiplied by positive 3 will give us a negative 120. 30 multiplied by 4 gives us actually a positive 120. So that actually is, that fraction is going to work out really nicely for us. And in this step, again, I'm going to flip, because this is still a division here, I'm going to flip this second fraction so that we're actually going to multiply. So this will actually become plus 11/8 multiplied by 9/11. Okay? So now we have 4/10 minus 1, negative 120 divided by a positive 120, we have unlike signs, so it's going to be a negative 1, and that makes it a lot simpler. And plus our 11/8 multiplied by 9/11. If we actually were to multiply this out, you would get 99 over 88, which then would reduce down by, if we divide both the numerator and denominator by 11, we'll get 9/8. But many of you have actually done this in class, where you recognize that because you have a numerator and denominator of the same number, we can actually just cancel those out. So we actually have a positive 9/8 left. Okay, so now we're left with adding and subtracting. That negative 1, we can make a fraction just by adding that 1 to it. And now we need to find our lowest common factor. Now we know 1 will go into any number, so that's not the problem for us. The concern is 10 and 8 and finding a common factor between the two. So it might not necessarily be, it's not the lowest common factor, but a common factor is 80. Okay, we could also use 40 as well, because 40 goes into 10 and 8 as well. Okay, so I'm going to have to reduce a little bit down, but that's okay. So my numerator is going to be 80. And so now I have to ask myself, well, with that denominator of 10, what do I do? What did I do to it to get 80? Okay, what mathematical operation? So I multiplied that 10 by 8. So what you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. So 4 multiplied by 8 will give you 32. With that 1, we had to multiply it by 80 to get 80. So we're going to do the same thing with the negative 1. So it's going to give us a negative 80. And with the 8, we multiplied that by 10 to get a denominator of 80. So we're going to do the same thing with that 9. So 9 multiplied by 10 will give us that 90. So now if we just add our numerators together, we get 42 over 80. And now we can reduce down. So if I actually divide by 2, our numerator and denominator, we will get 21 over 40. So at this point, we need to ask, okay, can we reduce further? Look at your the lowest number, and in this case, it's the numerator, and ask yourself, well, what are the factors of 21? So 1 can go into 21, 3 can go into 21 7 times, but can 3 go into 40 evenly? No, it doesn't. Can 7 go into 40 evenly? No, it can't. And 21 itself does not go in evenly to 40. If our denominator was 42, we would be able to reduce down to a half, but we can't. So this is actually the final answer.